For the pile, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, two-time defending champion here, two-time champion, unbelievably the youngest ever European Athletics Championship winner when he took the 1,500 metres and then the 5,000 metres title in Berlin this year. But there are some extremely good athletes in this race as well. Former European under-18 champion Elzhan Bibic of Serbia. Serbia has had some success in the men's under-20 races in the past at the Spa European Cross Country Championships. Lucas Maas, Tilburg athlete, he said yesterday's press conference, probably about 20 to 25 close family and friends around the course. Well, I wonder how motivated the Dutch under-20 men are going to be after seeing their compatriots take silver in the women's race. Tim van der Velde, very good steeplechaser, also useful on the country. Jake Hayward. Mark, say a little bit about this man. You know him very well.
Yes, I was speaking to him and his coach, James Thie, earlier on this weekend. But there's the man to beat, I think.
Yes. Just wonder what's going through the rest of the athlete's mind, knowing that this man is actually the senior European 1,500 metres and 5,000 metres champion. And, of course, very much a family affair in the Norwegian team. His two brothers, Philip and Henrik, both European champions themselves on the track, coming up later in the senior men's race at the end of the day. Well, 96 athletes from 29 countries. And once again, a very fast start. I think the coaches have actually had a look at this course and told them that it does funnel very quickly. And if you're not well placed, you're going to have to work hard to be able to get up amongst the leaders if you've got aspirations of finishing in the top 10 to 15. While it unravels, Mark, some of your other favourites, some of the other men to watch?
Well, you've mentioned Ingebrigtsen and also Jake Hayward and Bilic. They are the three principals. But as always in this race, as you made a point earlier, there are people who could bring a surprise, as Kalkin did in the previous race.
Leading the way at the moment, Usamin Umaz from Spain. Second in the Spanish Junior 1,500 metres this summer. Van der Velde out on the left-hand side of the course, closest to the lake. And Ingebrigtsen also up there. Jake Hayward tracking him. Ingebrigtsen finished second at the World Under-20 1,500 metres champion before going on to be the European senior. But Hayward not that far away, fourth if I remember rightly.
That's right, and then he went on to run a very, very fast time at the end of the season, 3:36, just outside the very long-standing British junior record. And really, in previous years, somebody like him or Bibic would be a clear favourite to win this race. But this is a special athlete ahead of them.
Seaman Haugen of Norway also up there. Third generation of very, very talented runners.
That's right. I met his mother yesterday. She was a competitor at the European Cross Country Championships and the World Cross Country Championships, a former rival of Paula Radcliffe. And then her father was an Olympic finalist in the 5,000 metres in 1972. That classic race with Steve Prefontaine and Viren.
And also, not to ignore him, Dara McElhenney, also up there in the green vest of Ireland, just out of shot at the moment, just drifted back a couple of places as Bibic of Serbia takes over in front. So we see the camera pan back. It's Serbia, Norway and Spain up the front at the moment in this race.
And it has to be said that Norway have very strong team gold ambitions in this race. And interestingly, Phil, it was this corresponding race 10 years ago that we first saw an Ingebrigtsen. Henrik Ingebrigtsen competed in the junior race 10 years ago. And Norway won a silver then.
So the under-20 men run the shorter 1 kilometre lap to start with before embarking on 3 long laps. You see some of the other leading names. Just to pick out Mohammed of Germany there, a little bit further back, but the German junior champion. Umai's finished third recently at the very, very strong Atapuerca IAAF permit meeting in the under-20 race. But that attracts athletes from all over Europe, one of the leading cross-country races on the international calendar, certainly the first half of the international calendar. Looks like France are also packing well at the moment. But I can see 2 Britons and 2 Norwegians up there in the leading group. 3 to score, just as a reminder. And just as I say that, see France actually provisionally in the lead at the moment in the team standings. But long way to go at this stage. Tom Mortimer up there.
Also in the front, it's British quickest 5,000 meter junior 2018 from Mortimer.
Mortimer finished third in the Liverpool cross-country race last month, de facto British trials race, and a very, very high-quality race that was too.
Ja, ik zie ze in de vecht aankomen met het team van de Velden die daar op dit moment probeert de pijgaatjes te slaan. Team van de Velden. En dan krijgen we dit een aanleiding.
The race just unravelling as we go through the woods. Still Umai's running well, just slowed down a little bit as they work their way around a couple of very tight turns out here in the woods.
Yes, this is the second short lap. The next time round they'll have a longer lap and there'll be more of this sort of terrain.
France have been the power in this particular category over recent years, winning the team title on 4 of the last 6 occasions. Although it was Spain last year who took the plaudits. Great Britain last winning in 2011. So earlier in the programme, there's the very wide expanse of sand on top of Earth that Mark was talking about. So we have Serbia, Spain, Norway, followed by 2 Britons. At a distance, I think you'll agree, it's a little bit difficult to tell between the vests of Great Britain and Norway. Very, very similar blue on white ensembles. Hopefully pick out the right people at the right time. Haugen up there. Haugen also very, very good runner on the roads. Recently finished 4th in a very high-quality 10K on home soil, the whole 10K, which attracts a lot of the top runners from across Scandinavia. It's the Nordic Junior 5,000-metre champion. Ooh, and another faller. Well, a lot of people are having problems keeping their footing on this surface. We saw Sarah Healy go down earlier. Be very interested to see how much she felt that had affected her. This is a very different course to the way things have gone in recent years. We had a very dry, very cold and very windy course in Slovakia, and then that came after 2 years on the Mediterranean in Sardinia, in Kia, and then before that on Hyères in France, which were very dry, very fast courses. I mean, we were debating, weren't we? I mean, you've been to every single Spa European Cross Country Championships, just seeing there Great Britain, Northern Ireland currently in the lead. This is the muddiest since when?
Well, I wouldn't say it was muddy, but it's certainly obviously treacherous. I don't think I've seen as many falls already as we've seen today. There's been more mud on other occasions, I think. But there's all sorts of surfaces here.
So Elzan Bizic, the tall, rangy Serbian, leading the way at the moment, being tracked by the much shorter Spaniard, Umais. Bibic recently won the Balkan Under-20 title, so he's in good form. Some good runners from across the Balkans here. Adrian Garcia, one of the top 10 from last year, is somewhere further down the field, the young Romanian. He was second to Bibic in that Balkan race. Umai still looking very comfortable. So to Bibic and all the men immediately behind him. So a group of 7. Mohamed has worked his way up there, the German.
And we have the next round. We can see the competitors. It's still in the lead.
Mohamed had a couple of good runs in Germany already this year. Went to the World Under-20 Championships where he was 13th in the 5,000 metres. Has come on.
Life is because it's for athletics and there are a lot of events in life, so then you have to press.
Usim Umais leading the way with Bibic. So the pair alongside each other, 3,500 metres, just over halfway into the race. Somewhat contrasting statures. Umais took the Spanish Under-20 cross-country title, the championships being held earlier this year, back in February.
And Phil, you mentioned the Balkan cross-country championships. There was also the Nordic cross-country championships in recent weeks, and I think we see the results of the positioning of those events in that they are providing more increasingly contenders in this race.
Near Lake Victoria, here in the Beekse and they are jumping over the tree trunks. Still in the lead, we have 3 athletes at this moment. We have from Serbia, Elzan Bibic. We have
So Britain leading the way at the moment in the team standings, just ahead of France and Norway. Well, the pace has eased off a little bit. Umais. Well, I haven't seen that too often, with Umais and Ingebrigtsen actually chatting briefly. Well, I think Umais was pleading with Ingebrigtsen to take the lead, and Ingebrigtsen just saw it as a friendly gesture. But gesture was well received by both men, and now it's back on with the racing, I think.
Didn't we see something like that with the Ingebrigtsens on the track in Berlin as well, between the two brothers?
Yeah. Might well have done, yes, but here you're dealing with people from the opposite ends, north and south of Europe. Well, Umais now starting to push the pace a little bit more. Ingebrigtsen, well, we've seen him so often just hang back and then just go through the gears, use his speed. but he does just seem to be blowing slightly harder than we've seen him in a few of his races. I don't know whether that's a false impression. I'm going to be proven completely wrong in a kilometre or so's time. But at this stage, it's Usim Umais taking the lead, the reigning Spanish under-20 champion, coached by Antonio Serrano, who was a medalist, a bronze medalist at the very first Spa European Cross Country Championships back in 1994. Hoping for some cheers. I think his teammates are out on the course. And he looks very relaxed, doesn't he, Umais?
He does, and to do something like that in mid-race, well, if you're good, you can get away with that. Is he good?
I hope it doesn't come back to haunt him. Not seeing anything like that from the likes of Bibic or Haywood, or the men behind him. Kodad, the Frenchman, has come through. He's now at the very back of that leading group. It has come from quite a long way back to get up in contact with the leaders. Similar race to the way Sklarbas came from a long way back, having not really featured during the first half of the women's race. But here's the leading trio. Umais of Spain, Ingebrigtsen of Norway, and Bibic of Serbia. Three of the men who we did pick out as the ones to watch. So there you hear the bell. Well, that was a quick lap, 14:10.
Yes, that was 6 seconds quicker than the previous lap.
Well, despite him looking relaxed, Umais has been cranking it up steadily. So now a bit of a gap between the leading three, with 1,500 metres to run, and Jake Haywood in fourth at the moment, and Mohamed of Germany. They're occupying fourth and fifth places. Well, Haywood in fourth, it's Hagen in fifth, and Mohamed in sixth. I have to say, I do admire the nonchalance and the arrogance of Umais. I don't think he can afford to be quite so relaxed with Jakob Ingebrigtsen on his shoulder, making a slight meal of getting over one of those logs, those three logs together, which have already claimed a couple of victims. Bibic now starting to just tire a little bit. And Germany now have moved up. Obviously, some of their runners further down the field have improved their positions. Germany in second place behind Great Britain and Northern Ireland now. Well, you have to wonder at what point Jakob Ingebrigtsen is going to make his move. He's let Umais and Bibic make all the running so far in this race.
He drifted through on the inside then without hardly any effort.
And suddenly, Umais is having to grit his teeth. What did you say? It's just so effortless. If he does take the gold medal, it's starting to look as though he might. He'd be the first person ever to win 3 successive men's under-20 titles. Steph Twell did it in the women's race a few years back, but no man has ever done it. And now suddenly a very large gap in just a very short space of distance has opened up between Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Usim Umais. Spaniard now. Well, he's still looking very relaxed, but the two men are operating at very different speeds. So just over 100 metres now to the line. And Ingebrigtsen just makes it look so easy. He's looking as though he's barely broken sweat. Takes congratulations of one of the crowd there. He's looking for the applause as he comes into the home straight. About 30 metres to go before he crosses the line. Jakob Ingebrigtsen gets his hat-trick of gold medals. Ingebrigtsen of Norway takes the gold yet again for the third year running. And he becomes a mud angel. Uasim Umais of Spain takes the silver, followed by Elzan Bibic. Jake Hayward, a great 1500-metre runner. Didn't quite have the stamina this time. Simon Haugen in fifth. So 2 Norwegians in the first 5. Mohamed sixth. Mohamed Amin Kodad coming through over the last couple of kilometres to place well in 7th. And quite a big gap now to the rest of the field starting to come home. This is one of the Turkish runners. Another German. Now they're starting to flood in. Well, subject to confirmation with 3 men in the top 14. I think it's Great Britain and Northern Ireland that take the team title. Well, could be close though. Just seen one of the Norwegians come through. Let's just wait and see how it unfolds. Mark, you were watching the third Norwegian.
Well, you were right when you said Britain were ahead then, because when 14 had finished, Britain were the first with 3. But then Haugen finished, Stavik was the third scorer for Norway in 22nd place, combined with the first place of Ingebrigtsen and the 5th place of Haugen, gives them a better score by 2 points than Britain.
So just seeing the highlights of the final part of the race, just confirming that Jakob Ingebrigtsen adds to his very, very extensive gold medal haul from European events. And that'll be a celebration that's been replayed all over Norway during the course of the rest of the day. I'm sure he'll be on the front pages of Norwegian newspapers as well. He's quite a hero in Norway.
Well, it's the second successive European Championships that he's come away with 2 gold medals.
Well, it's really fun to race this kind of race as well. Yeah, I just love to compete. So.
Well, Jakob Ingebrigtsen just made it look so easy. The rest of the runners, it's taken the toll on them a little bit. 18 minutes exactly for the 6.3 kilometre course. Outstanding run from this young man who, well, he was the joint rising star for 2018 in the Golden Tracks Awards recently. There's confirmation of the leading standings. Indeed, Ingebrigtsen winning by 9 seconds from Umais of Spain. Bibic just drifting a little bit back over the final 500-600 metres, finishing 3rd. Jake Hayward, just too much ground to make up when the leading trio started to make the break. Haugen, well, we think that 5th place is crucial in Norway taking team title. Have Norway ever won a team title before?
I don't think so. I don't think they've won too many titles without Ingebrigtsen being involved.
No. Well, a bit later on in the day, we have Caroline Bjørkli-Rovdal. Bjørkli-Rovdal was a winner of the junior race, I think, a few years ago. Has won the last 3 bronze medals in the senior ranks.
The team results in first place, Team Norway, 28 points. In second place.
Well, I think you might be able to hear over the loudspeaker, indeed, it is confirmation that Norway do take the team gold medal. There you can see it on the screen. By 2 points from Great Britain, Northern Ireland and Germany coming through to take the bronze with 38 points, just 3 ahead of France, the early leaders, but their runners started to drift back during the second half of the race. Ireland, Netherlands and Spain follow the leading quartet home.
And that's a good thing, isn't it, Phil, to have 17 teams scoring points We don't see that often in cross-country championships.
No, well, we do have a record number of European Athletics member federations here in Tilburg. 38 countries represented out of the 51 European Athletics. There we see in the middle of that, Camille Mars. Yes, the man in the blue top just going through your screen there. Out on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, he was the poster boy for Tilburg 2005.